Good evening, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in to my page. My name is Rom Kumagun, and I'm a video journalist. Last last January 30, I aired live through FP an interview with a guest, JVP, Executive Director. However, the broadcast had some very terrible technical problems. The sound delay sometimes can be acceptable over the internet, but our experience during that interview was too much. It was so long, the delay was too long, and I realized that I have lost a lot of viewers. I lost a lot of possible volunteers, possible people who might respond to what you were trying to say. And as I was analyzing our experience, I looked back at our rehearsal because we did an 1 hour before we did a rehearsal take, and it seemed to me that the rehearsal was much better than the actual broadcast. So what I intend to do tonight is to share the rehearsal and hoping that information and the interview in that rehearsal would help people decide what you'd like to do with the information. Okay? And the second thing I'd like to do is to show the unedited version of the actual broadcast and how it might have been broadcasted had our technical problems were not that difficult. Okay, so the first video is our rehearsal. Hope you like this interview. Hello, good evening, friends. This is Rom
Hello.
Kumagun, and with me is Blas Descallar. Yes, Blas Descallar is currently. Let me pull out his experience now. Blas Descallar is currently the executive director of the Jesuit Volunteers Foundation of the Philippines. Well, I mean in Manila, in- and formerly he was the principal Prime Bank um, English medium school in Bangladesh. And before that, he was a pastoral specialist at the Monsignor Oscar Romero Pastoral Care Center in Cambodia. And among other experiences, he was also the program director of Rosaryville Spirit Life Center in Louisiana, USA. And and he is an alumnus of Xavier University, Ateneo de Cagayan, with a bachelor's degree in international studies. Yes. So, welcome, Blas.
Thank
Welcome.
you, Rom. Good morning. Good evening to
Good, good,
the viewers.
yes. Good evening to our viewers. Yes, and I'm so happy have you have given time for this live FB live broadcast, and uh,
That's my pleasure to be able to, to serve.
yes. So, Blas, I heard there's a lot of things happening now with the foundation. Eh? Can you tell us more about what's up with the foundation?
Yes, sure. Yes, Jesuit Volunteers Philippines is now on its 40th year of service to the country. Um, the
Mm-hmm.
foundation started in 1980 with four Jesuits, and then nine volunteers were sent to mostly in Mindanao, where in the mission areas of the Jesuits. And then after 40 years, this is our 40th year, and we are going to have our grand reunion in Cagayan de Oro City on April 16 to 19. And then we are also currently recruiting for batch 41. This is going to be our 41st batch. So we are inviting graduating students, college students, and young professionals to join batch 41.
Why should people join the JVP? What will make them join this activity?
Well, there are various reasons for joining. Personally, my the reason why I joined JVP, because that time I was abroad and I was looking for something meaningful, and then when I came home, I saw this ads, TV ad about PLDT, and JVP was featured there. And then it was
Mm-hmm.
in a tribal
Mm-hmm.
community, the Aita communities in Zambales. And so I joined JVP because I believe that this is one way where I can serve God through the people. Others are finding meaning for their life, and others just want to simply reach out to the remote and undeserved communities in our country.
Mm-hmm. I see. So, what batch do you belong to? What
Oh, I
batch do you
belong to
belong?
batch 16. Batch
16.
16, that was way back in 1995 to 1996. And I was assigned,
Mm-hmm.
since I am from Mindanao, I'm from Cagayan de Oro,
Mm-hmm.
I was assigned here in Manila, in Pandacan. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's a school. It's a technical vocational school, a 5-year curriculum, founded by a French Jesuit, Father Pierre Tritz. And then I was assigned there as a teacher, a values education teacher. But
Mm-hmm.
then at the same time, because of the need, I became the campus minister. Well, actually, I started the campus ministry, and then helped in the guidance office, set up the guidance office, and then also helped in the resource development, like finding sponsors and for our students and the needs of the school.
Mm-hmm. And how long was your JVP year?
My year, well, actually, it's really 1 year, but the actual is 10 months in the
Mm-hmm.
area. But we have training before you are going to be sent out. There is a training that you need that the applicant needs to go through.
Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad that you came up with this Facebook group about the. I was inspired by a JVP, by a Jesuit volunteer. What made you come up with that
Oh yeah,
idea of setting up the group?
I created that when I was still in the US, when I was teaching there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was studying pastoral studies, masters at Loyola University in New
Mm-hmm.
Orleans. And then
Mm-hmm.
I received messages from my former students, and then I thought of creating this page, because other JVP alumni also were telling me that some of their students or the people that they were serving before contacted them. So I said, oh, it's good to create a page or a group that has one thing in common, and that's the Jesuit volunteers touching the lives of others.
I see. Blas, why don't you invite directly all the possible candidates for becoming members, volunteers for Batch 41? Mhm. Okay, hello. Hello, Blas. Okay. I lost a little of Blas now. Maybe, okay, we will turn this off. We will cut the broadcast in the meantime. Okay. Hello, Blas.
Sure. Thank you, Rome, for
Okay.
the opportunity. So,
Okay.
I would like to
Oh,
invite young professionals or graduating college students,
mhm,
ages 19 to 35, who are physically, yes.
mhm. Okay.
Hello?
Okay. Yes. I yes. Yes. I okay. Maybe it's time to say goodbye to our viewers. Say goodbye to our viewers. Thank you, Blas, for giving us the opportunity to to learn more about the JVP, and good luck. I hope the harvest of JVPs will be very good this batch 41. Okay, friends. So that was the rehearsal. That was the rehearsal, which I think there were a lot more information that we could think upon, and you'll probably notice that my video had a lot of shadows. Yes, because we weren't thinking of showing it to the public. But then I think this is one occasion when I have to show it to the public, when my image is not as important as the message. Yes. So, and to show you the actual interview, but this time I've edited the delays, the sound delays as much as I can without ruining the actual mood of the interview at that time. So this is the actual interview conducted an hour after our rehearsal. Right, friends, this is take five, take six, take seven of our FB Live interview. But welcome, friends. This is a special edition of FB Live. We call it inspired by a JVP. Yes, and I am one of those persons inspired by a JVP. Yes, but first, I'd like to introduce one of the JVPs. One of the JVPs, and he is now the executive director. He's now the executive director of the Jesuit Volunteers of the Philippines Foundation. Okay? And something big is happening. Okay? So, Blas, could you please tell us the big things that are happening with the JVPs?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Um, Jesuit Volunteers Philippines is now on its 40th year of service to the country. So we started in 1980, and now after 40 years, there are almost 1,000 volunteers who render service and share their talents to underserved communities around the Philippines. So we serve the marginalized communities as teachers, community organizers, or youth formators, or uh, organizing fisher folks, farmers, and that's what we are doing as members of the Jesuit Volunteers Philippines.
Mm. Oh, yeah. Blas, what does it mean to be a JVP? What does it mean to be a Jesuit volunteer?
Well, Jesuit volunteers, they will serve if you are a young professional, ages 21 to 35. You can share your talent and at least 10 months of serving marginalized communities. So we are going to train, recruit volunteers. Actually, this time we are inviting young professionals to join Batch 41. The year of service will start in May, and it will end next year, April of 2021.
Mhm. Yeah. And Blas, why is there the word Jesuit? Why not just a volunteer? Why is there a Jesuit qualifying the volunteer? A Blas. Mm,
Okay.
okay.
Um, okay. It's simply because the Jesuits, four Jesuits started it in 1980, and there were 9 volunteers sent to the mission areas of the Jesuits in Mindanao, and among the 9 volunteers, 7 were from the Ateneo de Manila University. And then most of the volunteers actually are coming from 5 Ateneo schools, but we are also open to all other schools, graduates from other schools who are interested to serve for a year.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And um, who are the most likely um, candidates or for this JVP activity? So I'm
We
waiting.
are inviting, first of all, a graduate from college, um, 21 to 35 years old, who is physically fit, and then mentally and um, also spiritually fit, because
Mhm.
they are going to serve in the rural areas, and they will be away from their normal activities. And so that's why we are really encouraging someone who can share their at least 10 months of their time.
Mhm. Mhm. Will it be worth it for them to share at least 10 months of their lives to a life of a JVP? So I think mm, mhm, mhm. I think we lost some good connection, but I think we have enough. We have enough, and I hope that at least with this little interview, that we would be able to encourage uh, young professionals, college graduates to join the JVP. So Blas, uh, thank you, Blas. Thank you, Blas, for your time. Okay. So friends, okay, have a nice evening. And Blas, thank you so much for your time. Okay. We'll be signing off. Okay. Okay. So see you, my friends. That was
Bye.
the that was an edited version of that actual live broadcast last January 30. And I see Joel Jong Clemente is online viewing now, and he commented, Mabuhay ka kapatid, Blas Butching Sarraga Descallar. Maraming salamat po Sir Rom Kumagun, sa ating layunin magkakasama pa rin. Yes. For our foreigner friends, mabuhay means long live. Yes. And I suppose this is a very apt. By the way, a very apt message. By the way, Joel John Clemente will be our guest on February 13, and he's a JVP batch. I think 13 or 11. I'm not sure. I forget his batch, but he's now in Texas, and he will be our interviewee on February 13. And unfortunately, our interview ended with a hanging question. Uh, is it worth it? Is it worth it to become a JVP? And maybe Jong will be able to shed more light if it's really worth to become a JVP. Okay, so friends, thank you for tuning in, and God bless.